your on-the-day registration facts, your final briefing notes here, but most importantly, these 3 forms. So these are the 3 forms that, I hope you can all see them, sorry. These are the 3 forms that we require at the registration tent. So fill these out and bring them to the start line. We need these at the start line. If they're pre-filled out by everybody, it will make it a breeze. You'll just go on through, it will be fine. So it's a good idea if you're not meeting up tonight with your team, perhaps to arrange a meet-up all together pre-event, have a big chat and do all your forms together. It's a good idea. And so there they are. And also, sorry, I should say, but your bibs are not in your briefing pack. Your bibs are collected at the start line. So if you're wondering where your bib is, we've got it. So you should notice in there's the team confirmation form. Now, if you've made a change of team member or any other changes to your personal contact details in the last or since the 24th of March, there may be incorrect details on there. If you've sent those changes in to us, that's fine. We will hopefully be actioning them, or if we haven't already. But it should be noted that any changes to your team, change of team member forms, all that sort of stuff needs to be done by next Monday the 4th. And then in between Monday the 4th and event day morning, so on the Friday morning, we won't be accepting any changes. So if you don't get them done by Monday, it'll have to wait till event morning, and on that day at the registration tent, we'll have to charge an administration fee if you need to change team member there. So hopefully that makes sense. All the info is in there anyhow, but it is important to get those details up to date. So I really wanted to talk about the start, and I had a video for it, but I'm a bit... Should we try it? Let's try the video. It's good. If we've got that many first timers, you want to see what it's like. Yeah. Please. No, wrong video. This was the other video. Okay. Oh, yay.
553.
I like that it's very enthusiastic about our work. That's good. Okay. The start is awesome. I hope you're all pumped and excited. It's fantastic atmosphere. Everybody's buzzing. It's incredible. I'm so excited already. But no matter how excited you are, as I said, please do bring along these forms. Please do, it's very important. So it's a good idea to plan your journey. As I said, if you're meeting up with your team, with your support crew, plan ahead, know your start time, know your registration time. You need to have all your team members there to register. So all 4 of you need to go, and that'll be the same at each checkpoint. You'll arrive together as a team. Khan will speak through all that info a bit later. But our event partners will be there. Paddy Palin will be there. Excess Travels will be there as well. So if you need to buy anything, keep cups, supplies, anything like that, it will be available for you. It should be noted there is a slight error in the final briefing notes that I really want to say, sorry. It is a typo. But can everyone ignore the start 1, start 2, start 3, start 4 business? Your start time is the start time that is on your team space. So listen to that start time, and your arrival time, your registration time. Ignore the start 2, start 1 thing. Just take it from, if your start time is 7:30, we'd like you there as early as possible. If you could get there at 6:30, that would be great. So please just go off of that. It's a small error. And support crew guides are available online. I did link it in the last e-news, and I will link it again. But it's really imperative that your support crew feels a part of your team. They're truly the hidden heroes of this event, and believe me, by the end of it, they will seem like angels to you. They are so important. Even if it means just going to grab a refill of water for you, in these moments, they are just phenomenal. So please make sure they know what their responsibilities are. Please include them in your team discussions, have a plan, make sure they get their vehicle pass, and display that on their vehicle for entry into checkpoints. So that's all for me. So hugely excited to see you next week. Thank you so much for coming. I'm just going to introduce you now to Khan, the event operations coordinator. So he's got all the juicy goss on the trail and all of that stuff. But thank you very, very much. See you later.
Thank you very much for that, Steph. Hi guys, I'm Khan. I'm the Events Operations Coordinator for this year's event in Melbourne. Just jumping straight into it. Okay, so let's talk about some provisions that Oxfam will be providing you on the course of the walk. Here's a list of it up there. You can read through it, obviously. As you can see, there's bits and pieces along the trail, but this is definitely not going to be enough to get you through 100 kilometres. And as Steph mentioned, this is where your support crews will come in very handy in making sure that you're well supplied with, well hydrated, well fed for the event. This list is in your briefing notes as well as on the website available to download. Don't forget to bring your own cup. Now Oxfam Trailwalker is a cup-free event, and we want to keep it that way for this year as well. For a couple of those things, just a note, such as the bananas and the chocolate, for example. Please, for the faster teams specifically, just take the one. Remember the walkers behind you. They're the ones that are going to struggle and really want that banana and that chocolate. Okay. Bring your own cup. Once again, just a little reminder, we actually have these on sale at the back where you picked up your packs. Keep cups are available for $15 per one, and if you buy 4 of them tonight, 4 for $50. That's for your entire team. And if you want to be nice to your support crew, you can get them a couple as well. Okay, in addition to the provisions that we're going to provide, there's going to be some vendors selling. There's going to be a couple of barbecues, a couple of vendors selling coffee, croissants, muffins, sausages, all sorts of things. There's a list in there as well as in your briefing notes, but this is just things in addition for you to be able to purchase, so bring some cash with you if you would like to make a purchase, or have the support crew do that for you. Now, one thing to note is that we can't cater for all dietary requirements, so if you do have any, please do ensure to arrange your own supplies. That's the second list of all the provisions. Now, we've been quite lucky this year. In previous years, we haven't had vendors at every venue. Virtually at every checkpoint, including the rest stop this year, we have at least one vendor for you. And that coffee at 3 a.m. is going to be a treat, trust me. Okay, on to other things that we'll be providing along the trail. First aid services. We have EMSA, the Event Medical Services, will be providing first aid at each of our checkpoints and including our rest stop. Now, they treated many of our participants in the previous years. Everything from dehydration to hypothermia to lots and lots of blisters. I'll speak specifically on blisters a little bit later on down the track. You do need to look out for yourself and for your teammates. We'd like to warn participants of the risks of taking too many painkillers specifically. I mean, it's a problem that's occurred over and over again over the course of the years for the event. The combination of this, dehydration, physical exertion, can lead to hospitalisation and or kidney failure. Not a nice way to end the weekend for anybody, so please do be aware. If you are taking painkillers, please keep a record of when you had them or have your support crew do so. It just helps make sure that you don't take too many in a short period of time. Allied health services. So we have a number of massage therapists, physiotherapists, podiatrists at some of the larger checkpoints throughout the trail this year. The details of that are in your final briefing notes as to where they are, so you can help plan, perhaps. Please be aware that they're all volunteers. They're all donating their time to be here, so be patient with them, especially if there are queues. But yes, and also, of course, make sure you thank them for their services. I mean, these guys here are dealing with probably some very not so pretty feet with a smile on their face. Now, this is a slide I was specifically talking about before, blisters. It is the number one reason walkers retire, and that's why we've dedicated a whole slide to it. Take care of your feet, they'll take care of you. Don't try anything new on the weekend. Don't go out buying new shoes, new shorts, new shirt, new underwear. Just don't try anything new. Use the gear that you've used in your training walks, because they'll have been, you know, you'll know what the irritation spots are for those particular pair of shoes, you know where the hot spots are, you know where you can take preventative measures for your blisters. Stick to your training regime. Walking poles are also highly recommended. And maybe again, just with blisters, prevention is better than trying to deal with it after the fact. So if you do know where those hot spots are, get it taped up, see a podiatrist before the event, get some blister packs put on there, etc., etc. Okay, sleeping. Now, we do have camping available at checkpoint 4 and 5, despite what your briefing notes say. I think it only says checkpoint 4, that's my fault, my typo. It's not really a typo, I just kind of forgot to put it in. Checkpoint at 4 and 5, camping sites are available at both of those checkpoints. Make sure your team has planned whether to camp or not. Now, you don't want to be making that decision on Friday night without all the gear that you have. If you are even thinking of doing it, bring the gear along ready for it. If you don't and you feel good on the night of the event, which some people do, and you keep walking, that's fine, but be prepared if you want to, or you think you might even possibly might consider it for your team, do so, bring the gear along. If you do sleep, remember that each checkpoint has a closing time, so set your alarms. One thing to note is, of course, if you're there, if you don't look like you're leaving, we'll get out there and we'll speak to you. But if you are leaving the checkpoint and to sleep elsewhere, notify the guys at the check-in desk that you're doing so we can take note of that and we don't go thinking you're missing out there on the trail somewhere. You must be back if you are going off-site to sleep. So if you check in, go off-site to a motel, a hotel, go for a nice little bath or a hot shower, which is, by the way, one of those things that you can pamper yourself with. You must be back before checkpoint closing time, so don't oversleep. Get your support crew out there, make sure that they're waking you up way before the checkpoint closing time. And that information, of course, is on the trail hours, but you can also check in on the day of the event if you need to with their check-in operation, check-in and check-out desk. I know, it's sad, isn't it? The poor fella. No matter how much we love him, and I have one myself, a dog that is, no dogs on the trail. Please remember, it's something that national parks have let us know that they don't want dogs out there on the trail, even at the checkpoints. It's one of the rules, Event Rule 21. Of course, you're all very familiar with that. Dogs are not permitted on the trail or at checkpoints. Smoking is also strictly forbidden on the trail as part of that rule. I don't know why it's part of the same rule. Okay, now for the really, really, really important stuff, your safety. One of the things to consider is the fact that the weather, especially here in Melbourne, can change. Forecasts can change. This is the outlook currently for it. It looks to be extremely nice over the weekend of our event, which is great. It's 19, a little bit cloudy on the Friday, 23 with some sun and clouds on the Saturday. I should really consider a career change. And 24 and sunny on Sunday. Now do note that it is going to drop to 10 degrees overnight on the Friday night. And especially up in the Dandenong Ranges areas, that will feel more like your 5-6 degrees. So especially with a bit of wind, make sure you're prepared for all kinds of weather. Your wet weather gear,